Hello and welcome to India Career Center, the one stop podcast for students, professionals, parents, and guardians. In every episode, we will try to deal with a current topic that needs expert advice related to career guidance, and career mentoring. Please welcome your host, Dr. SP Jain, to the show, and happy listening.
Hello and welcome to India Career Center podcast for another episode on higher education. Today I've got a very special guest, Dr. Balakrishna Grandhi. He's the Dean of Global MBA and MGB program. He's also the Professor of Marketing and Strategy and Director of Accelerated Management Program at SP Jain School of Global Management. He has nearly 45 years of experience in academics and industry and has a passion to add value and make difference through teaching and mentoring. And I must start with the input that when I interacted with Dr. Grandhi sometime back, he introduced himself as the transformer when we had a conversation earlier. And I would like to start the conversation from that point. Sir, welcome first of all to our show, and thank you so much for investing your time with us. So let's try and understand why you are called a transformer.
Thank you, Dr. Mishra. I really appreciate this opportunity being given by India Career Center. I myself was surprised when many alumni have visited me and then said, "Sir, you're a transformer." I asked him, why do you call me so? I didn't act in any movies. Then he said, "No, sir, you have transformed our lives." I asked him, "Can you elaborate?" The common statement is we normally enroll in the program not being clear as to what we need to do in our careers going forward, not being confident, and our shoulders are not broad. But through the program, you've given us such, good program and a difficult and an intense and a rigorous program that upon graduation, we have been able to get some very plumb positions and have good acceleration in our career path. So there has been a transformation in our lives, and we believe you are the reason, or rather you're instrumental in making that happen. So I'm deeply touched, and I'm very grateful to the Almighty for having been able to play a role such as this in the lives of students and working executives.
That's fantastic. And looking at your profile, I do understand prior to getting into academics, you actually worked in the industry as well. So briefly, take us through your roots. You come from where and how you started your professional career and how you have reached to the current status.
Sure, Dr. Mishra. As they say, or rather as Steve Jobs said, you can understand yourself by looking back and connecting the dots. And
Yes.
now, having spent about 4.5, 5 decades in a variety of roles, I think I can say that with a little ease. I did my master's in management sciences in Madras University. I was a topper there. And then I went on to do my MBA from the Carlson School of Management in the year 1973. And they have given me waiver for many core subjects. I could wrap it up in 1 year. And it so happens that I finished my second master's at the age of 21 and my doctoral program at the age of 24. The fact is that after my MBA, I was not keen on pursuing any further studies. But then one fine day, I get a letter from the dean of the business school saying, hey, Grandhi, would you like to be Dr. Grandhi? We want to give you a full scholarship because you have topped the business school amongst 2,500 students. I said, oh, wow. I was thinking twice, but my dad was pretty annoyed that I was thinking twice. He said, there's no choice. You're going to go and do become an academician. And that is one of the most noble professions. And that's what got me into a PhD. And my dissertation was considered as one among the best in the United States by the American Marketing Association during those years. And I was given a special grant by the AMA.
Mhm.
I always believed that eventually, if you want to be a good teacher, you should have a good understanding of how the industry works, besides garnering academic knowledge. So I chose to be working for Bell Canada. I was hired as a senior manager in their corporate business development department. I was in a team that was looking at coming up with new types of communications equipment. And then I'd gone back to India. I've been an entrepreneur in different sectors. And then in the year 1996, I was being continuously reminded, saying that, hey, you have done a PhD, how long are you going to be in the industry? Get back to teaching. So then that's when I have joined the Administrative Staff College of India in Hyderabad, where I had the opportunity to teach and train thousands of young managers, middle-level managers, senior managers, both in the private and the public sector. And it was in 1996, Mr. Nitish Jain, who is the current president of SP Jain School of Global Management, he appointed a headhunter in India. He said, I want a faculty who can blend marketing and finance together.
Mhm.
They had a challenge in getting the faculty to teach a subject called marketing of financial services.
Oh, okay.
And in my PhD, marketing was my major and finance was my minor. So they tested me out, invited me to come and teach a group of students in December 2005. And I don't know what I did in the class. I got a rating of about 9.6 on a scale of 1 to 10. And the next thing is he calls me to the office and he said, hey, I want you on the team. Can you join as the Dean of Executive MBA? Because I was, in the executive education area at Administrative Staff College of India. So, and as they say, the rest is history. In 2006, I've joined SP Jain, and it'll be 18 years come this March. And I have really enjoyed being part of SP Jain School of Global Management. I've been part of the core team, growing it from campus to campus and making it one of the choicest business schools around.
Fantastic. That's so fascinating. And since you talked about SP Jain, so let's also try and look at the brief history of SP Jain as a group. I mean, how it started in India and now, of course, it's a world-renowned brand. But if you can take us through the early part of SP Jain's journey.
Sure. Late Shriyans Prasad Jain, that is, the grandfather of our, the president of the current SP Jain School of Global Management, to whom I report to and I work with. He started SP Jain Institute of Management and Research in the year 1981. And he did see a need for management professionals. There was a dearth for it. And of course, it was a collaborative effort with Bharati Vidya Bhavan. The campus was inaugurated in 1981 in Andheri by none other than the then Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher.
Wow.
And the whole thing has taken a full circle. And we now have a campus in London, which was recently inaugurated by the former Minister of Education of Rishi Sunak's cabinet.
Okay.
So we have started the campus in Dubai in 2004. Mr. Jain saw an opportunity when the Sheikh Mohammed, the ruler of Dubai, wanted to make this an education hub because he saw the economy growing and he saw a need for a good number of management professionals. So he said, why don't we attract business schools and make this an educational hub? So Mr. Jain found that as a fine opportunity and got his footing here in 2004. Seeing the performance of SP Jain School of Global Management in Dubai, we had an invite from the Singapore government. They also wanted to make Singapore an education hub, and they have done the due diligence. And of all the business schools from India, they've chosen to invite SP Jain School of Global Management from Dubai. So that was in 2006. What's very impressive is the progressive policies of the Singapore government. We were very clear, we don't want to invest in land and buildings, no capital expenditure. They said, no problem. We'll show you several properties around and tell us which one would you like. And lo and behold, we said, hey, this is the one that we would like. It's about 7 to 8 hectare property in the central business district with a heritage palace in it and gardens all around, and with a block that would be refurbished eventually into classrooms and hostels. So it was inaugurated then by the then Minister for Finance, Tharman Shanmugaratnam, who incidentally happens to be the president of Singapore right now.
Fantastic.
And seeing the performance in Dubai and Singapore, we got an invite from Australia, the New South Wales. And government said, why don't you set up a campus here? So we chose to set it up in the Sydney Olympic Park. And later on, we believed that there was need for additional space in a campus in Mumbai. So we had set up in Mumbai. And now, in November, we started a London campus, of course. That would be in the name of SP Jain London School of Management. It would be a sister concern of this Global School of Management. So that has been the journey of SP Jain School of Global Management, sir.
What a journey. Great. So talking about management studies, obviously, one of the top streams which most of the undergraduate students choose is management, apart from, of course, the core engineering subjects. And this has been there for many decades now. So what are the main reasons as to why management studies still are probably a little ahead of the other core management, core engineering subjects when it comes to choosing the master's program? What has been the primary reasons for that, and how do you see this panning out as we go along?
It's very interesting that you asked the question, because yes, there has been a proliferation of business schools,
Mm.
and there's a large interest in the area of management education. It's for multiple reasons. One, they do get fascinated by what companies are doing and different executives are doing and how they're able to grow. They do see opportunities for good roles and attractive salaries. And obviously, there's been a high demand. It also offers opportunities for growing your leadership skills. And if one joins a school like SP Jain School of Global Management, you get a global understanding of what is happening, which country is going up or down, or which company is going up or down, and what are the dynamics of doing business across the boundaries. And I guess management education offers lifelong learning, because nothing is uh, constant. The business environment is changing, so everybody needs to continuously adapt. And this is offering continuous learning opportunities for the youngsters. And most important of all, no matter what area they have focused on in bachelor's program, they can easily adapt their learning, and the skills are transferable.
That's
I can give you a couple of examples if you wish.
yeah, please.
Those who have done engineering, they're strong in numbers and analytics.
That's right.
And that becomes very, very important when you're talking about, working with numbers and data sets and analytics. Someone who has done maybe, bachelor's in arts, I always believe that a successful manager is one who is ambidextrous. A right brain, focuses on creativity, intuition, judgment, and non-linear thinking. So they can easily learn the skills that are required to strengthen the left brain. So one can learn irrespective of what they have done in an undergrad program. They can become a complete manager with a good program.
Absolutely. Well said, sir. So what are the various programs which are being offered right now from SP Jain Global School in terms of the master's level?
We offer what is called a global MBA, and the master's in global business. Both these programs require the students to immerse themselves in at least 3 different cities. For example, the first city would be Singapore, the second city could be either Sydney or London, and the third city is in Dubai. And then we also have Masters in Artificial Intelligence and Business. It's a 2-year program offered only in Australia, because if somebody studies there for 2 years, they get 3 years work rights. And we have, of course, executive MBA program also at the master's level. This is for working professionals. And we have that taught both physically and also online. And we have invested in special technologies for engaging the students online. We call it as the ELO, Engaged Learning Online, and we have invested heavily in ELO studios across the campuses that we are operating in.
Sir, you mentioned about the global MBA program where the student has to immerse in 3 different cities within the program. While it is excellent from the point of view of getting exposure to those particular cities as well as cultures and the countries, at the same time, just a counter thought on this is that when you have to travel, let's say every 4 months or 6 months to another place, is it how quickly the students are able to adapt and learn about that particular culture in terms of probably that's the whole objective of this program, to expose them into different country cultures. So, is there something which we are also learning as we do this program, more and more batches?
Absolutely. Uh, did we get this right in the very first year? No. We have also gone through the learning curve.
Okay.
Now, in a 1 year program, where we have about, say, 53 weeks, we have 3 terms with about a week and a half gap between term 1 and term 2 and term 2 and term 3. So that is enough time for them to go out to the city ahead, uh, settle down, and we have now a time-tested processes, irrespective of the campus. When they arrive, we have people who would take them comfortably to their place of accommodation. There is orientation or reorientation as to what they're expected. We also have the local authorities and maybe even the police do a session with them to tell them how they should conduct themselves. And as the courses go on over the 4 month period, we have what's called a global learning team, and they organize specific activities for these students to immerse in learning and immerse in local cultures. For example, students in Sydney, they get to interact with the Aboriginals. They also go to visit the Parliament in Canberra, interact with maybe a member of Parliament or two. They go to Sydney Opera, not just as an attendee, but they also talk to the people behind the scenes, those that manage the operations. What kind of shows they have, when they have, do they use a large theater or a small theater? What is the pricing? And what are the challenges when they deal with multiple, troops that are performing? So, anything that we do, we also have them learn the business and the operations aspects of it. And we also have now a practice whereby in several courses, we have a senior practitioner come into the class, take a particular topic, teach the topic in a manner that it blends with whatever else is being taught in the class for that subject, and engage in a Q&A. So the students in all the 3 cities get to understand the business practices. They immerse themselves in the local culture, and they also do a project wearing the hat of a consultant for local companies. So we have teams in place that will take care of every single process.
That's fantastic. And this is quite unique, actually. I don't know whether any other program like this is being offered by any other universities where you do part of your course in one city and another part in another city. I mean, that too the management program. It is probably there are examples of undergraduate education where a part of your education is done in India, then a part of it done in another country, but not definitely 3 different countries. So this is very unique in terms of the thought process. But if you can take us to the genesis of the idea as to how it came about.
Yeah, I think this is probably the most important question. Our president, Mr. Nitish Jain, is truly a visionary. And he seen that as business is going global, business education also needs to go global. For example, if a company is going global, operating in multiple markets and multiple territories in multiple countries, they need people who can understand how the markets and the cultures and the customers' needs vary across these markets, because you cannot sell one single product the same way in every country, because you got to adapt it. Take, for example, detergent like Tide being sold by Procter and Gamble or any other FMCG product. You got to price it differently. The value propositions are different. You got to package it differently. You have to communicate differently. So these nuances are better understood. And now in the current state of affairs, different companies in different parts of the world are excelling in different processes of business or links in the value chain. One country may be lucrative to get the components or the raw materials. You may want to do R&D in a different country. You may want to manufacture in one country. You may want to warehouse in another country close to the markets that you want to sell in. So senior management is continuously under pressure to enhance operational efficiencies so that they can offer outstanding value to the customers. Look at how factories are being relocated earlier to China, now maybe to Vietnam, India, Indonesia, Malaysia, with the sole purpose of reducing the cost of manufacturing without compromising on the quality. And there is enormous pressure on companies to widen the margins. They are not able to enhance the prices. So the challenge is to be able to reduce the COGS, or the cost of goods sold. So you need to be continuously on the lookout on what to do, where to do, and how to operate. And when I talk about globalization, there are also certain trends of deglobalization with the regional conflicts.
Yeah.
Look at what Ukraine and Russia conflict has done. Germany has always been the engine of growth for Europe, but because of its high dependency for oil and natural gas in Russia, which has stopped, particularly after the destruction of the Nord Stream pipeline, they are forced to buy these fossil fuels at a higher price. They're having inflation. They're having unemployment. Industries are not operating at full capacity. And as we speak, farmers across Germany are protesting that farming is not viable. Another example would be toy manufacturing industry. 50% of the toys sold around the world have always been made in China. But now, because of sanctions and trade barriers, companies are not able to do the same. So they're looking at which are the countries that they can shift toy manufacturing capacities. So whichever country is most progressive and investor friendly, has the infrastructure and can help set it up quickly, is the one that's going to be. So what I'm saying is these regional forces are not static, they're dynamic. And our graduates with a global mindset, they're able to continuously understand what is it that needs to be done to be able to enhance stakeholder value.
The geopolitics, as you rightly said, is going to continue like this, and things will not change so fast, because those are very long-term policies which are in place with the countries. So yes, you rightly said, I think exposure to those is very vital. Another follow-up question on this is, so having seen...
If I may, Dr. Mishra, another thing that's happening right now is, the conflict in the Israel and the challenges that are happening in Red Sea. This is forcing, companies to curtail their imports or exports And those that are continuing, they are required to have the cargo liners spend about a couple of weeks extra going around the southern tip of Africa and incur a huge expense. And this has a tremendous impact on the supply chain. So
Absolutely.
our students who take the supply chain subject or specializing in that area, they are given these challenges. They are required to learn through simulations as to how they will face such challenging, uncertain conditions that are being faced by a company, and how do you navigate the company. So when they take such difficult decisions like in a simulator, they come out more confidently to take on these problems.
Very well said. And one follow-up question on this, which I had not thought about, but since SP Jain's global school is actually doing a fantastic job in terms of this multi-locational program, so soon other schools also will try to replicate as much. And of course, it is overall for the industry, it's going to be good. But do you see that happening soon, or you see that it's not going to be so easy to replicate your program so well?
Dr. Mishra, let me put it this way. There are some schools that have already tried to replicate.
Okay.
But to do what we are doing requires, I would say, very precious DNA.
Mm.
The leadership, the people involved, the processes need to be absolutely agile, nimble, and be able to adapt. As I was telling you the other day, in the month of July, I was invited by the Harvard Business School to be on an exclusive panel of deans from around the world. And I have recently revamped the curriculum, and I happen to informally review my curriculum with some of the thought leaders and professors involved in updating the curriculum at the Harvard Business School. When they saw the curriculum that I was going to implement it from the month of October, they said, "My God, we wish we could do that." I asked, "Why can't you do that?" There is bureaucracy. We cannot change a particular course outline or change a particular topic. And every fall, they take 900 students, 10 sections of 90 students each, and different professors teach the same subject. And they need to ensure consistency in the way it is taught, that the learning outcomes are accomplished, the way they are assessed. So every organization, every school has its own challenges. But the unique thing about SP Jain School of Global Management is we keep trying. We don't necessarily succeed in everything that we do. We quickly learn, relearn, reinvent ourselves. And it is this culture or the DNA that helps us stay ahead. Like I said, be very agile, nimble, and adaptive to the changing situation. I should also mention to you that we are extremely focused on what are the trends and challenges out there in the industry. We have industry advisory boards in every city. We have frequent meetings. We do surveys of the alumni on a continuing basis. We take feedback from the graduating students, what they found useful or not useful. And we quickly break the curriculum before it is broken. For example, currently, with the GMB and MGB curriculum has been approved by the Ministry of Education, the TEXA arm in Australian government, for 7 years. But right after 3 years, I said, I'm not going to go forward with the same curriculum. Let's break it, because things have changed so much. We have launched a new curriculum in 2020, post-COVID. in October. And in 2023, October again, I changed it because post-COVID, there are new challenges. And there are new requirements of the companies. There are new expectations of the graduates. So we are good for nothing if we cannot hone the skills that are necessary, that are relevant for the corporate world.
So well said. I think agility is your primary DNA, so to speak, in terms of being able to adapt quickly as to what is required. And that is quite relevant in today's times, especially with AI and other technology constantly changing our lives every day, not even year. It's actually happening every day. And if we do not change, then, as you said, before the course breaks, you break them so that you stay relevant. That's so strong.
Yeah.
Another area which is something which keeps makes me think quite a bit actually, and this is with respect to especially the amount of young people who are coming out of higher education in India. I mean, there are reports. I think the recent report came about just few days back, and as per that, around 4.3 crore young students got into higher education in India, and about 1.03 crore have passed out of the education system in India. At the same time, the formal job sector, though there are very difficult data to analyze because not many organized data is available from India especially. But the estimate is that the amount of formal jobs which are getting added every year compared to the number of students who are coming out of the higher education system, there is a huge gap. So, which means that maybe about 5 to 6% of the employable people in India are actually in a formal sector, and rest of the people are either in informal sector or agriculture or and so on and so forth. So, in this context, entrepreneurship is something which is probably is going to be one of the main skills which will be required, and along with that, the DNA to innovate. Of course, Indians are known to be good at that, but creating that environment, especially with young people, and making sure that they are not just thinking about how to get into the plum job, rather than thinking about what they can do for the society, for the country, for the world. So on this, how you're trying to address through your programs?
Yeah, excellent question, Dr. Mishra. I'm seeing more than ever before a good number of graduates wanting to start something on their own. They have a fire in the belly and they want to do something. So they want to pick the skills to be an entrepreneur. And we believe these skills are necessary whether you are going to be an entrepreneur or even an entrepreneur. Companies would like, within the organization to start new products, new services, enter new markets. And they want people to think like an entrepreneur within the organization. I would refer to them as entrepreneurs. The most important requirement for an entrepreneur or entrepreneur is to be able to think cross-functional. Traditional management education has focused on siloed way of teaching, just marketing, HR, finance, accounting. We do teach those concepts in the first term, but then on, we emphasize a lot on cross-functionality, which is very important for an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur has to think IT, he has to think HR, he has to think marketing, he has to think finance. So we do that, number one. Number two is today entrepreneurship and leveraging technology are inseparable.
Yes.
So what we do is we have subjects like emerging platforms and services for disruption. So we teach them what are the technologies that have disrupted in the past, what are the emerging technologies, and we give them projects in that subject, visualize and see how you can use one of these technologies to disrupt a particular space. Today, an entrepreneur should also have the knack of, and this is the third one, being able to, analyze the data, twist it, turn it, interpret and see what the storyline is. So we teach them on data analytics and decision making. We also emphasize, I think the fourth requirement is learning to work in a team and lead a team, because many entrepreneurs, they may have great brains, but they do not have the EQ to be able to work with the colleagues and lead them. So we emphasize the multiple assignments, multiple projects. They need to learn with the students of diverse backgrounds and diverse nationalities. And we emphasize, and the fifth one is strategic innovation, blue ocean strategy thinking, design thinking. How do you bring creativity to the challenge? How do you do things that would make the existing competition irrelevant and create new blue oceans and new market opportunities? And all these are taught in different capsules. And in the third term, we have a subject called entrepreneurship for a disruptive launch. So they pick a challenge, and under the guidance of the faculty, they work in teams. They learn how to make a pitch, and they make a final pitch in the last day of the presentations, where we invite people, in private equity and venture capitalists to listen to them and give them feedback. And in fact, a couple of the such ideas have gone further, to the beta stage, to be out there in the market.
Fantastic.
So we take that very seriously, and we do emphasize, in a way, we are incubating, not having a separate room or a cell as an incubator area, but it is incubation is happening in the minds of the students all through the 1 year, by interacting with the practitioners and interacting with the faculty, connecting the different dots, thinking cross-functional, leveraging technology, leveraging data. And most important, we also emphasize on soft skills. So if I may take a minute or two on what we do in this, Dr. Mishra.
Sure.
Many schools restrict the learning to what is done in the classroom. We spend a lot of time outside the classroom with a set of highly trained professionals to hone soft skills of every single student. So there is somebody in the team that takes ownership for a student from the day he joins till the time he graduates, with continuous inputs, evaluation, monitoring to see if there is significant delta improvement or not. So we believe soft skills are just as important as the hard skills to be successful, not only in cracking the interview, but also to eventually succeed in the roles that they assume.
Fantastic. So true. I think, the NEP talks about the 21st century skills. There's so much of emphasis starting from the school level itself, and obviously it is going to be lifelong importance to inculcate all the 21st century skills. That's great. So before I let you go, I would like to ask the last question. What are the future plans for the SP Jain's Global School, the MBA program, what you have? And obviously, more and more students across the world will probably like to come and join your program. So what are your future plans?
Our plan is primarily to continuously improve and do better whatever we are doing. Continuous innovation. And when I say continuous innovation, it is trying to improve what we teach, how we teach, and who teaches. Uh, the technologies are changing continuously. You have now AI, blockchain, cloud computing, and data-driven decision making. So, how do we embed all these?
Mm.
And how can we train the students, one, to embrace new business models? Because business models of yesteryears is getting broken.
Yes.
Those that are frozen in ice, they're going bankrupt. They should be ready to change. So companies are looking for graduates who can add value in these uncertain times, those that can think when faced with ambiguity. So these are the kinds of challenges. How do we leverage these different technologies for personalizing the customer? Because the customers want something personalized. So
That's
AI
right.
and machine learning is making that happen, much like Netflix. Customers are engaging in omni-channel buyer behavior. So companies need to engage in omni-channel management. Customers are no longer relying as much on traditional means of communication, the TV and the hoardings and the newspaper. So companies need to invest in chatbots and virtual assistants and be able to communicate, digitally. So, and while doing all this, there are a lot of threats, cybersecurity threats, and there are ethical considerations. And by the way, our curriculum has, while being revamped, has thoroughly, we have thoroughly embedded with, ESG, the
Very important.
17 Sustainable Development Goals of UNDP. We have made an effort to see uh, in every subject, one or two of these objectives are embedded, because doesn't matter which subject, which area you're talking about, there is always a need for embracing environment, society, and being ethically right and governing well. So
Absolutely.
ESG is also. So these are all the new challenges, and I see them as new opportunities
Yeah.
and requiring reinventing and doing whatever we are doing better, and improving the faculty learning and improving better technologies, simulations, while we teach, while we engage the students in class or online. So this is broadly what the plans are. So.
Okay. So as such, geographical expansion is also on the cards, or that is going to take some more time?
Yeah, it is on the cards, and I prefer not to get into that, because there are efforts that are being made, and it would be premature to talk about until they take really shape that we are ready to announce. So.
Okay. Okay, Dr. Grandhi, thank you so much for elaborately giving all the answers very, very eloquently in deep discussion. And I'm sure a lot of our young listeners and their parents probably understand a little more about SP Jain. Of course, SP Jain as a brand is not new. I mean, it's renowned across the globe. But these nuances which we discussed today, I think, will give a little more deeper sense about this organization. And I'm sure SP Jain Global School will further contribute in making the world better through its education and initiatives. So, with those words, I thank you once again to be with us, investing time and and explaining everything about SP Jain and its legacy.
Thank you, Dr. Mishra, for this opportunity, and thank you for your kind words for SP Jain School of Global Management. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoy this episode. We sincerely wish you could take something from our conversation today and be able to apply it to your life in a positive way. We value your feedback. This can help us improve our future episodes. So share your thoughts to serve you better. If you want us to focus on a topic which you think is of importance, let us know. We will share our expertise in future episodes. So, see you soon with a new topic and help you in your career journey.